Girls, it is so nice to be speaking with you today. My name is Laura Hayes, and I live in the United States, just outside Washington, D.C. I am honored that my friends Edgemick and Huforo, founders of the Donestep Twins Foundation, have invited me to be a guest speaker for the launch of the Girls Community for Change project. What an amazing opportunity for all of us to come together to learn, empower each other, and make a change in our world. This opportunity reminds me of one of my favorite African proverbs. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I'm so glad that we're doing this together. So here is a little bit about me. I'm a school counselor, a life coach, and the founder of the Brave Girl Project. The Brave Girl Project is my program where I help girls develop the skills they need to live life bravely. I've been working with kids and teens for over 25 years and absolutely love the work that I do. I didn't always feel like a brave girl, and today I want to share my story on how I learned to make my challenges turn into my confidence and my bravery. I hope that my story may inspire your story. Before I start sharing, I want to ask you a question I wish I had been asked when I was a young girl in school. The question, how are you smart? I hope you noticed that I didn't ask, are you smart? Rather, I'm asking, how are you smart? Now, some of you may not know this, but there are 9 different types of intelligence. Often in school, intelligence is measured by your performance on an examination or the grades that you make. Here are the 9 different types of intelligence. Try to find the ones that are yours. Mathematical intelligence refers to someone's ability to solve mathematical problems, spot trends and patterns, and understand relationships. Linguistic intelligence gauges a person's ability to use words effectively. Being able to use the right word and express what you mean is a unique skill that can be utilized in lots of different scenarios. Interpersonal intelligence or emotional intelligence refers to the link between intelligence and emotions. Someone with an interpersonal intelligence is good at sensing other people's emotions and reading their motives. This can be linked to both verbal and nonverbal communication skills. Intrapersonal intelligence refers to self-awareness and people's ability to understand themselves. Do you understand what you are feeling and why you are feeling it? Intrapersonal intelligence also involves appreciating and respecting the human condition. In general, treating others the way you want to be treated. Musical intelligence is the most self-explanatory, being able to sense rhythm, melody, music, enjoying playing instruments. Visual spatial intelligence refers to people's ability to view or visualize the world in its 3 dimensions. Visual spatial intelligence involves the following capabilities: mental imagery, spatial reasoning, image manipulation, and artistic skill. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence refers to mind and body coordination. It's very important for athletes. Now, athletic ability isn't often referred to as an intelligence. Kinesthetic intelligence is measured on someone's ability to use their physicality to manipulate objects and other elements around them. Naturalist intelligence refers to the ability to read and understand nature. Having sensitivity to the non-living elements of all living things is considered nature smart. And our last one, existential intelligence. Existential intelligence refers to the deep sensitivity and people's ability to handle deep questions, such as the meaning of existence. It's one of the most complex of the 9 types of intelligence. People with existential intelligence are not only comfortable talking about these serious questions, but they often are seeking answers to them as well. I did not learn about these different types of intelligence when I was in school. I hope that you see one or more that are your strengths. I like to point out these different types of intelligence to the students and clients that I work with. I realize I would have benefited so much to understand this information. And I want my clients and students to see their unique learning and intelligence type as well. I was a shy student in school, and I struggled when learning new concepts. In elementary school, I could see my classmates quickly learning and picking up new concepts, while it took me a lot longer. I also had a very hard time breaking big projects down into small steps and finding a way to get started. This led to me feeling overwhelmed and confused whenever there was a big assignment. I wanted to do well in school, but each year it felt as if the work got harder and harder. In school, I was staying up late at night trying to finish my homework. And if there was a project, good chance that I had waited to the last minute to get started and would have to do an all-nighter just to get my work done. I felt lazy, stupid, and ashamed that I was struggling so much in school. I wanted to be successful and knew that I wanted to make a difference in the world. But the effort to do well in school was exhausting. And despite all the work and all the time that I put into school, I simply wasn't seeing any results from all that hard work. I still was not getting good grades. I fortunately graduated from high school and went to the local community college. This would be the very first time in my whole academic career that I would experience academic success. I had a 3.8 GPA based on a 4.0 scale. That was good. But what was the difference? Why was I successful in college and just couldn't do it high school, middle school, and elementary school? This is one of the clues. First, my schedule. I didn't schedule my classes one right after another. This allowed me time to take in the new information I had learned and make sure that I understood the new concepts. The other key difference was that I was taking classes I was excited to take, information I wanted to learn about. Hello, 9 intelligence types. Finally, I got to focus on what I liked. I was doing so well that I had dreams of attending my dream college, Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, also known as Virginia Tech. I had to go back to my high school and ask my school counselor for my high school transcripts. She would need to send those official transcripts for each college that I was applying to. When I gave her the list, she said that she wouldn't be sending a transcript to Virginia Tech. When I asked her why, she said, "You're not going to get in." I couldn't believe. I was shocked and my spirit was deflated. Was she right? I couldn't believe she was saying that what I dreamed most of wasn't going to be a reality. Somehow, though, I got the courage to tell her, even if I don't get in, I want you to send the transcript. After that interaction with my school counselor, I was filled with doubt. I felt like my dreams just weren't my dreams anymore, that I couldn't achieve what I really wanted to achieve in my life. Maybe she was right. Fortunately, she was wrong. And I am forever grateful that I didn't take her advice and that I sent those transcripts to Virginia Tech. So, Brave Girls, lesson 1, listen to your instincts. Don't let someone else tell you what you can and can't achieve. You decide for you. So I went to Virginia Tech and I majored in psychology and family and child development. I loved everything that I was learning. The experience with my school counselor had a profound impact on me. It motivated me. It motivated me to want to make a difference for kids that struggle in school, just like I had. So I worked very hard to become a school counselor, and I loved getting to work in schools. I loved helping students discover how they are smart, giving them strategies to build their self-esteem and their self-confidence, discovering who they want to be, and realizing that their dreams are possible. I hope for you that you see that your dreams are a possibility and that you can make them happen for you. But this is not where my story ends. Another part of the puzzle of me would be answered because of my son. When my son was in 2nd grade, my husband and I started to realize that he was struggling in school. Reading was difficult. Paying attention was also difficult. It started to remind me of a lot of the struggles I faced when I was young. Through educational testing, we found out that my son has dyslexia, which is a language-based processing disorder that impacts students' ability to read, as well as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. The psychologist conducting the test looked at my husband and I and asked, "Where does your son get this? Who has ADHD or dyslexia?" The reason she was asking is because there's a big genetic link for those with ADHD having a parent also with ADHD. It felt like a light bulb was going off right above my head. Finally, things started to make sense. I got tested and it was discovered that yes, I have ADHD and have always had ADHD. I didn't find this out until I was 45, but it was liberating to know finally why I had struggled so much in school. I had spent years finding different coping mechanisms and strategies to help me achieve my dreams and my goals. At times, it was exhausting. Having a diagnosis, though, was validation of how hard I had to work to make those dreams a reality. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is ADHD? Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. ADHD is a common condition that is caused by differences in the brain. People with ADHD have trouble with focus, but some are also hyperactive and impulsive, especially when we look at kids and teens. We'll see more of that impulsivity and distractibility. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates worldwide that 3 to 5% of the population has ADHD. People with ADHD have trouble with a key group of skills, the executive function skills. It's kind of like the boss of our brain.
Executive function skills play an important part in our daily responsibility and our long-term goals. And people with ADHD often have problems in a lot of these different areas. Planning is developing a well-thought-out strategy before starting a task. This can be very difficult for someone with ADHD. Organization is keeping neat and orderly systems in place. Being organized includes having a place for everything, developing a plan to keep materials orderly, cleaning up as we go so that we can get to our work and find the things that we need when we're ready to begin. Task initiation is a big area that people with ADHD struggle with. Task initiation means starting right away. It includes not procrastinating even when it's not an activity that you want to do. A lot of people with ADHD may procrastinate, especially because some of the tasks that are less desirable require more attention and focus that they already struggle with. Time management is using your time well to complete tasks. Oftentimes, people with ADHD struggle in knowing how long a task will take them, being able to prioritize what part of the task to start with first, and how to use their time wisely. Attention allows us to focus on a person or a task for a period of time and being able to ignore distractions and refocus when needed. This is especially difficult for someone with ADHD. Metacognition is being able to think about our thinking, considering what we know and what we don't know about a topic as we learn. And this is critical for studying, completing challenging assignments, and comprehending new material. Another area that's difficult for someone with ADHD may be their working memory, keeping information in our heads while we use it. We use working memory when we solve complex problems, when we juggle numbers in our head. It also helps us remember critical details in a story or thinking about the directions that were given by the teacher. Self-control is another big one. It's being able to stop and think in order to make a more positive choice in the moment. That involves learning how to hit the pause button, calm down when emotions are running high, think through a situation, and make a good choice for now and in the future. Flexibility is being able to cope effectively with change, being open-minded, testing out new approaches, going with the flow when things aren't going as planned. Being a flexible thinker also means being able to see a situation in more than one way, and it's critical for problem solving and perspective taking. And perseverance, working through challenges and roadblocks and not giving up, being able maybe to use a different strategy so that you can continue to work on that difficult task. When there are deficits in executive functions, it impacts all areas of life.
And that can create challenges in many areas of life, from work, school, relationships. Sometimes people think ADHD is because someone's lazy or they simply lack willpower. Through research, we know that is a myth. In fact, people with ADHD are often trying as hard as they possibly can and exhausting themselves in the process. For a long time, people thought that ADHD was only seen in little boys, but research shows that adults, girls, and women have ADHD just as much as boys do. Girls and boys do tend to show different signs of ADHD. It varies from child to child, of course, but boys with ADHD are more likely to be hyperactive and to struggle with self-control. They're more likely to act out in school and behave in ways that make it difficult for the teacher to ignore. Girls with ADHD tend to adapt better to school. They're less likely to blurt out answers or shove the kid next to them in the classroom. Girls with ADHD may get noticed for being chatty or a little squirmy. Oftentimes teachers overlook this, thinking that it may relate to the girl being immature or a little talkative, and not recognizing that it actually may be a sign are hyperactive or predominantly show the hyperactive ADHD may be also described as being overly emotional or overly sensitive by their teachers. They also may seem more distracted or daydreaming. All these behaviors are signs of ADHD, but people tend to react to them in different ways because of different reasons. Teachers and families may be more accepting of the ADHD signs that girls typically display, or perhaps even more tolerant of the different signs. This helps explain why boys are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed than girls, and also why boys tend to be diagnosed at an earlier age than girls. So girls are diagnosed on average 5 years later than boys are. Most boys may be diagnosed around age 7. Here in the States, most girls might be diagnosed at age 12, but there's also many, many girls like myself who may never get diagnosed. In fact, research indicates that up to 75% of girls with attention issues go completely undiagnosed. That's a lot of girls who probably feel a lot like I felt, wondering why they can't do things, feeling stupid, and then maybe not achieving their goals or impacting the world in the way we need. If you're concerned that you have ADHD or a learning difference, don't be ashamed. Some of the most innovative thinkers and creators have ADHD. Thomas Edison had ADHD. We have the light bulb. There's many other women that have ADHD. Simone Biles, Whoopi Goldberg, Serena Williams, Emma Watson, and Cher. And all of these women have ADHD, and all of them are living successful, amazing lives. Your learning difference truly can be your gift. And I know for me that my ADHD is my gift. It allows me to think quickly on my feet, solve problems by thinking out of the box. That has helped me be a good school counselor. The first step, if you have your own concern about ADHD, is to get a diagnosis. Talk to your doctor. Go and see a psychologist. They're the only ones that actually can diagnose you. The next step is learn, how does your ADHD impact your executive functions? What is your biggest challenge? For me, one of the biggest things is I don't see the passage of time. So I use a visual timer to help me, or I use lots of alarms on my phone so that I am aware of time passing and then also knowing that I'm getting my work done. There are so many different strategies that you can use. Even having an accountability partner, someone that you can call and let them know when you've completed your project, or when you're starting on that next step can truly make the difference.
I also have a free resource that has all the different things that you might need if you're concerned about ADHD, from different articles, research, books, podcasts, different people that might be the role model you need, to some of my favorite YouTube channels. You can find this free resource by following me on Instagram at The Brave Girl Project. It's right under my bio, and I've made sure to have it right at the top for you. Resources for girls with ADHD. I hope that you might follow me so that we can become friends and I can help cheer you on. And don't worry if you're not on social media. You can find me at thebravegirlproject.com. I have my website where you can follow along on my blog and look for some different resources. And you can always email me at laura@thebravegirlproject.com.
Some of you watching may not realize that maybe you yourself have ADHD, or a friend or loved one. I hope by sharing my story, you may start to see yourself, your classmate, your friend, or even maybe a parent with a new perspective. Supporting those with learning and thinking differences strengthens our economy, our culture, our communities, and all of our lives. It's how we shape the world for difference. Because when 1 in 5 people who think and learn differently feel understood and accepted, it impacts all of us. I've been honored to be able to share my story with you. I truly have found confidence in who I am, in being able to see my challenges, understand when they are challenging, but yet also see the true gift that they offer me and how they help me think differently. And that difference can help make the world a better place. Brave friend, I hope you can see your challenges with loving compassion. They truly are what make you unique, and it may be exactly what this world needs.